everyone? Welcome to part 3, the conclusion of Ask the King for February, I almost forgot the date, February 2nd, 2017. Just a quick reminder, since this is the final part, I'll remind you how you can get your questions answered on the next episode, which will take place sometime in April, alright? You can either post up your questions on the kingofhate.com forums. There's already a thread there to post up for the next episode already, so you can go right to it. You could post up your questions on my Twitter the day of, so whenever I am filming the next Ask the King, I'll announce on my Twitter I'm accepting questions, and you can post them up there. Or, if you are a patron of mine, alright, you can submit questions to the kingofhate.com forums and get them answered guaranteed if you pledge enough to hit that perk level. Check out the website below, patreon.com/darksidefil, for all the details on the perks and all that and how it works. Alright, now, without further ado, before we start with the questions and finish the show, I have many thank yous to give because the past few months, people have been absolutely awesome, supporting me via Patreon, allowing me to keep doing this as a job. I am tremendously grateful, in particular those around Christmas, and then this past month when I announced what was going on in my business, people came out in droves and really helped and stepped up. Thank you to all the following people who, through hitting the certain perk level, get these cool thank you shout outs, all right? Thanks to Alan Hill, Storm Force Gamer, Ralik, Hassan Kali, Thomas McDonald, Mike Hunt 2018, har har har, Mr. and Mrs. Kelcher, Last Rambo 341, QPZMWN, Papa Neeks, Elysian, Deep Drive, The Fire Rises, Faithin 13, Aaron Carpenter, The Dead Cry, Jacob Hendricks, Atlas Telemon, Show Trios. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Traus or Trios. I apologize because I cannot pronounce that. Astrius, Logan Shannon, Delanchian Gaming, Christian Espanta. That's only the end of the first page. Scuba Steve, Fred, Joe Wiltshire, The Hidden Boss, Nyan Kitten 90, Michael Denault, Saint Jimmy, Nicholas Kale, yes, Kale, El Tardo Magneto, Vivek Farrow, Planet Jeff, Christine Gebhardt, Peru for the Win SC, Brightside Viking, Jeffrey, Martin Notzer, Noah Porin, Will Tucker, AV, Joseph Chalk, Steve-O O, or it could be Steve-O 0, I'm not sure, Peanut Brother, and now on to the final page, Vilix, Abdulrahman Al-Thani. Wow, I can't believe I just pronounced that correctly. Abdulrahman Al-Thani. Hacking Darts, Shawnee B, Casey Wood, Tom Dooley, Flutter Knight, Shinobi OS, apologies, James, Connor Brown, Zathan, Niromyth, Kazi, Matthew Tisworth, and last but not least, Proto. Thanks to all of you. You guys and gals are awesome. Again, I'm only still doing this because of you. You know what I mean? Without the patron support, I'd be gone. I would have been gone years ago. So thanks very much, everyone. Okay. Time for the final questions. Here we go. The next question, again, incidentally, is from Planet Jeff. I know he asked a couple questions earlier, but he actually asked a bunch of good questions this show, so I wanted to answer this one as well. He says, Phil, I'm glad that your switch back to Twitch TV streaming is working out well for you. When you switched over, I remember that you said that one of the reasons that you chose to do so was because you figured out a way that you could live stream at one quality or resolution for Twitch while you record at another quality or resolution for YouTube. This addressed a specific issue, which Twitch is having a hissy fit because you basically cannot stream at 1080p 60 frames per second because of their limitations. For a while, I could swear you were doing exactly that, still streaming at a lower resolution for Twitch, but then you were recording at the higher resolution for YouTube. But now, like since the new year, all I've been seeing recently on YouTube are videos recorded at 720p and 60 frames per second. What happened? If you give an explanation, I must have missed it, and I certainly missed the videos that were in full 1080p. When I watch full screen on my large monitor, it's noticeable. Is there any chance that this will change? I'm glad that Jeff is bringing it up, because I mentioned it on pre-stream and on Twitter, and it doesn't necessarily make sense and or not everyone catches it, okay? Here's the thing about Twitch TV. They require you to stream at an incredibly low bitrate for any game in this day and age. 3,500, that's 3,500 kilobits or kilobytes, I'm not sure which it is, per second. You can't even really do the highest quality 720p video with that limitation, okay? It's still a little choppy and a little pixelated. I don't know why, with the big buyout from Amazon and all the money that's been funneled into this company over the past 2 to 3 years that I've been gone from it, why they didn't improve their business so that they could stream at higher quality. I mean, YouTube, the major positive I got from streaming on YouTube for 2 years was that I could stream at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Twitch, you can't do that. You just cannot. It will look like shit if you try to do that on Twitch. Choppy and terrible. I don't understand where all the money went. All this money that supposedly was invested in them from Amazon, why didn't they use it to improve their business? I don't know. I can't answer these questions, all right? So, with all the years people begging me to come back to Twitch, I said I could only come back if I could still stream at their low quality, but I find a way to, at the same time, to record videos for YouTube in a higher quality. I tried doing this with the old program OBS. It's the program I was using for streaming and capturing. It doesn't work. I would have to open 2 windows of it to do it. And honestly, when I tried it, it wouldn't work. My whole computer would crap out. It wouldn't be able to handle it. So I couldn't do it. All of a sudden, people said, well, did you realize they just added the capability to this other new program, OBS Studio, where you can stream at one quality and record at another? So I messed with it. When I messed with it, here's what I found. Yes, it works to some extent. Okay? I can stream at those shitty limitations that Twitch has. So that's what I've been doing. And you know, some people have noticed my stream quality has significantly degraded since I streamed on YouTube, but that's the price I pay for streaming on Twitch because their limitations are terrible. I can't believe they haven't upped them yet. It's ridiculous. That being said, okay, I have found that I can record at higher quality for YouTube, but I can't do full 1080p and 60 frames per second. I tried it with games such as Overwatch and Modern Warfare Remastered, and when I tried it, the videos were very choppy. Not pixelated, they looked smooth, but the frame rate was terrible. It was very choppy. So basically, my computer cannot handle recording at those 2 resolutions. So there's a solution, but it's a compromise, all right? I can either record, while streaming on Twitch, I can either record at full 1080p resolution, but only 30 frames per second, or I can record at 720p resolution, lower, but at full 60 frames per second. So here's where it works and it doesn't. Like, for example, when I first started streaming on Twitch, I was playing Watch Dogs 2, and I was playing Final Fantasy 15. Those were the 2 games that I was kind of balancing at the time, right? Both of those games ran at 30 frames per second. So I captured at 1080p, 30 frames per second, and they looked just as good as they always did on YouTube. There was no degrading quality at all because I was recording at this higher resolution, and I didn't need 60 frames per second because the games didn't run at them, right? So that worked out perfectly, no problems. But then, when I started doing my year-end multiplayer event with patrons, and also as I played more Overwatch, and I knew there was going to be other games that had 60 frames per second coming up, like Resident Evil 7, I knew there was going to be an issue. Because those games run at 60, and if you don't record them at 60 frames, they look choppy, because to the native eye, you're used to seeing them running at the full 60 frames per second, right? So I knew that I had a choice to make. And I actually polled a few times on Twitter and on pre-stream and stuff, and I said, would you rather see a lower frame rate for these games and the higher resolution, or would you rather see the better frame rate? And overwhelmingly, the response that I got was frame rate. Most people were actually saying, we don't watch videos at 1080p. When we do, our computers can barely handle it, or our mobile devices don't look good. We usually watch around 720p anyway. So do 720p and 60 frames. So, excuse me, the last few times that I did multiplayer games with Overwatch, the whole playthrough of Dark Souls, the Redemption run, because guess what? That game doesn't even run at 1080p. That game only runs at 720p regardless. So that whole playthrough was at 720. And then Resident Evil 7, I recorded at 720p, but full 60 frames per second. All the videos I've been putting out recently are 720p. So admittedly, right, people might say, oh man, I used to watch full screen on my monitor, now it looks a little bit more fuzzy. Yeah, because that was the trade-off I made. If I didn't do that, for example, when I played Resident Evil 7, it would have looked way lower frame rate, and people would have might have said, wow, Phil's playthrough looks inferior to other people's, who, everyone kind of recorded it at 60, Phil only did 30. What's up with that? So that's kind of the trade-off. Same thing right now with Yakuza 0. This is the first Yakuza game ever that actually runs fully. The entire game runs at 60 frames per second. So I'm recording at 60 and only recording at 720p resolution so that I could get the full 60 frames. Okay? It is what it is. That's the trade-off that I'm dealing with. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't even know if upgrading my PC would allow me to do this, to stream at what Twitch wants, but then do full 1080p 60 frames per second at the same time. It could be a limitation with the OBS software. I don't know what it is, but that's the deal. So I apologize to anyone who loved watching my videos in 1080p. The good news is, moving forward, games that still run at 30 frames per second, I will be recording at 1080p, but if there's a game that runs at a higher frame rate, I need to go down to 720. Okay? Fair enough. For most people, it's probably not even an issue. Most people probably still don't watch videos at 1080p, but I'm just saying that's what's going on right now. All right? The next question from Wingmaster19. Phil, has there ever been anywhere you wanted to go for a vacation? He suggests Japan or Mexico. Here's the realistic vacation places I'd like to go, and then I'll tell you the pipe dreams, all right? Realistically, California, Oregon, or Canada. Why are those realistic? Because they're close to us, because the travel cost would not be very high, especially now that we live on the West Coast, and there's a lot of fun stuff there. California, you got LA with Hollywood and all the tourism and the Walk of Fame, and the movie studios and the theme parks and everything. Oregon has a ton of beautiful nature stuff, but also has Portland, which is this big hipster-like city, all kinds of entertaining stuff and things to do there for tourism. Canada has super high tourism. Their tourism has been increasing massively. They've got great cities like, I think the one that we would probably go to is Vancouver, which had the Winter Olympics a few years back. So they already have this giant city that was built up for massive tourism and is there and ready to go. And it's really easy to get a passport just to go right to Canada and back. So those would be the ones that would be quick, easy, and inexpensive. Pipe dreams, will I ever get to go there? I don't know. I would say probably Europe, definitely. I would like to do a Euro tour through like maybe Great Britain, France, Italy, maybe Germany, maybe, oh God, what was the fifth one that I wanted to do? Maybe Spain, something like that. Maybe a tour of Italy like that. I would maybe one day like to go to a tropical island for a vacation. I'm not saying necessarily a certain one. I don't think I would care if it was like Hawaii or one of those other major tropical islands, but that could be a fun one. And, you know, yeah, to some extent, I still do have a desire to go to Japan. At one time when I was younger, I wanted to go to Japan hardcore. I wanted to go and play the best people in Street Fighter. I wanted to take in this Japanese culture, and I wanted to, you know, just experience it. Now, I'm a lot different. I'm older, and I realize that a Japan trip is incredibly expensive, and you get way less than going anywhere else because Japan, everything is small. You pay the same amount you pay for a hotel room, like a luxury hotel room, giant room with a spa and everything at like a luxury resort in the United States. You pay that for a little rinky-dink hotel room the size of a closet in Japan. So everything is smaller. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I would like to be there just to see it, but I honestly think I'd probably have more fun going somewhere else. So there you go. Those are the vacation places that I would probably consider and or would like to go. Will I ever get to go there? Who knows at this point. Let's see here. I lost my place. Oh, here we go. From Derek Legends 26. He says, Phil, who in the WWE would you say is your favorite superstar? What was your favorite pay-per-view? And what is your favorite WWE commentator? That's a lot of questions. Current favorite WWE superstar, I don't know if there's one that I absolutely like, oh my God, it's the best ever. I respect hard workers, right? I really don't have respect for those who get pushed just because they're big, okay? So for example, right now, Braun fucking Strowman can go suck an egg. The guy's terrible in the ring. He's terrible on the mic. The only reason he's getting a push is because he was born big. He didn't earn his spot. And Vince is pushing the shit out of him because he's huge, not because he's good, all right? Compare that to someone like a Daniel Bryan or an AJ Styles or a Shinsuke Nakamura. Hell, even Samoa Joe. He's chubby for a pro wrestler, but he's one of the most amazing performers out there, right? Kevin Owens, you know, he's a great wrestler. That's why I've always respected people like HBK and Chris Jericho, because they're not huge, giant, roided freaks, but they got themselves over with their own talents, right? So today, I don't know. I really don't. When I watch wrestling, I try not to play favorites. I'll be honest, for the years when CM Punk was there, he was my guy. He was. But once he left, I kind of didn't really have a favorite anymore. I kind of lost the idea of a favorite wrestler. What was my favorite pay-per-view? There have been a lot of good ones. Ones that come to mind, I have to say the Armageddon Hell in a Cell pay-per-view from 2000. That was one of the craziest matches ever. There was so much going on in that match, 6-man Hell in a Cell, that the cameramen were running around trying to catch all the action and couldn't even get it. That was like the epitome of holy shit, what can you do in one of these crazy matches? The Royal Rumble's always fun. In particular, when you have no idea who's going to win. Like this year, I really liked the Royal Rumble match because you had no idea who was going to win, and then you see who wins. Like, holy shit, you never expected that guy, right? So in that regard, the Royal Rumble always has that air of mystery when they don't fucking spoil it with bullshit like, oh, someone's title is on the line. Obviously, they're going to fucking win then. Oh, they've been pushing the living shit out of this guy, and he claims he's going to get into WrestleMania. Obviously, he's going to win the Rumble then. You know what I mean? So I hate those years when it's super predictable, or when, like, for example, oh, Batista fucking comes back out of obscurity and wins the Royal Rumble. He's going to WrestleMania. Stupid shit like that pisses me off. Obviously WrestleMania every year. I don't think I have, again, I hate it when people say, what's your favorite? I don't really have, there's things that I like, but it's not, this is my favorite of all time. It's very hard for me to put my finger on it. Commentator, definitely I would say if you're play-by-play, it's got to be JR. I mean, he's always been the best play-by-play commentator. There's other guys who are coming up that are doing pretty good. I would say color commentator, either Jerry the King Lawler, or I would have to say JBL right now, I like, but he kind of screws up a lot too. Corey Graves is doing a good job. Corey Graves, I'm very impressed with Corey Graves on the mic when it comes to his NXT commentary. Now that he's on Raw, his Raw commentary has stepped up a bit. So that is a cool story of a guy who all his life wanted to be a wrestler. The worst possible thing happened where he couldn't wrestle, and now he's finding his own in another venue of wrestling, or another avenue of working for a wrestling company. I love that guy. I respect a lot. I really do. That's probably one of the more well-respected people in the WWE. Corey Graves, man. All right, let's keep going. Oh my God, this question is so long. I'm going to try to get through it quickly. From CJPACQUING. I have no idea how to pronounce that. He says, Phil, I've been meaning to ask you, how do you get paid by Machinima through your partnership with them? I always thought you got a flat rate based off of views, and Machinima gets paid whatever YouTube makes on ad revenue. But I noticed a couple of your tweets that you said you're not getting paid off of views. So I'm confused. I understand if you can't share due to contract clauses, but I think it would be a great thing to share whatever the misconceptions are regarding how you actually make your money. I find it absurd how your channel viewership and interaction can be growing, but your income is dropping. And a follow-up question, is 2017 the end of YouTube? Do you think another content, he said it a little wrong. He says, do you think a content creator will come up soon to introduce competition? It wouldn't be a creator. It would be a more content hosting service who would be competition for YouTube. Or do you think YouTube will continue to have a stranglehold on the market? Well, I guess, again, I apologize, CJ Packing, maybe is how you say it, that you missed out, because this happened at the end of 2015. My contract was always with Machinima since I signed with them in 2011 to the end of 2015 had been based off of views. If I made, or if I earned a certain amount of views, I would make a certain amount of money. Now, this contract at the end of 2015 had to go away for two reasons, all right? Number one, because YouTube sucks, and this is not an exaggeration. Basically, it's publicly admitted repeatedly, they can't keep track of views properly anymore. They don't know how. They constantly fuck up. They overcount, they undercount, they screw everything up. And just recently, this happened in January, YouTube just decided out of nowhere, we're going to subtract ridiculous amounts of views and subs off of everyone. No warning, no explanation, we're just going to do it. Now, some people noticed it and freaked out and said, oh my God, I just lost like millions of views. What happened? And they contacted YouTube, and YouTube said, oh, we audited the system and found out that we overcounted all these views. Therefore, we subtract all of that, all right? Luckily for me, that doesn't happen. For me, I'm not based on that contract on views anymore. That went away in late 2015, and I went to a contract based on ad revenue. The other reason that contract doesn't exist anymore, all right, is because basically YouTube ad revenue has plummeted. And I'm not exaggerating here. When I started on YouTube in 2011, ads on YouTube were incredibly fucking lucrative. Like, really lucrative. Just running ads on your videos, you could make ridiculous amounts of money, all right? But over the years, it's declined. Now, that could be many reasons. It could be that it could be that advertisers have realized their ads aren't super effective. So why are they going to pay YouTube a ton of money to run their ad when they know they're not getting a lot out of it, right? It could be that because there's so many more people out there now putting out videos that are ad revenue enabled, that all the money can't be divvied out as well as it used to. So now it's you know, you only had, let's say, 10,000 people taking the ad revenue. Now you've got 10 million. Well, obviously there's going to be far less of it, right? Makes sense. I also see there's issues now, this is really stupid, where ads don't play properly. People have been telling me over the month of January that on a lot of my videos, they'll go to watch the video and they just see black and then the video starts. So obviously they didn't watch the ad. I didn't get credit for it. So there's a lot of things that lead to this ad revenue fluctuating. And that's why I don't have the views-based contract anymore. The bottom line is, the views-based contract, at one time, Machinima was making a ton of money on ads, and I was making a decent amount of money on the views contract. Because ad revenue plummeted, it flipped. I was making more money with that contract than Machinima was making on ad revenue. So they had to do away with it. They had to get rid of it and do a whole new kind of contract with me. So now, 100% of YouTubers make money on ads. Now, there may be other bigger YouTubers that get like bonuses for doing certain things differently, but the base pay everyone receives is based on ad revenue, period. Okay? Everyone. There's not one person exempt. Everyone's getting paid based off of ads. I was in the last legacy group of people who still had the view-based contracts, okay? So I am. Everything I do is based on ad revenue. And that's why I can have a month like January where it said, literally, it said, you made way more views in January than you did in December. You had higher likes. More people watched and more people were engaged. Meaning people were watching my videos for longer in January than they did in December. Oh, by the way, you made thousands of dollars less during that month than you did in December. What? More views, higher engagement, more people watching. People liked what I did way more in January than December, but I made way less money. And the reason is because ad revenue. Ad revenues in September, October, November, and December skyrocket because all the advertisers are advertising their products for Christmas. As soon as that wave is done, boo, ad revenue goes in the toilet in January. It happens every year. So for me, I busted my ass in January with this cold, forcing my way through it, trying to make sure I could do the Dark Souls run for you guys. Didn't take any time off. Couldn't even afford to go to the fucking doctor. Doing all this. Oh, guess what, Phil? You screwed you anyway because basically YouTube can't do a good enough job of getting advertisers so they could have constant levels of ad revenue all year. Basically, YouTube employees suck. It's their job to bring in the advertisement, and they don't do a good job of it. They've never done a good job of it. They don't have consistent ad revenue. That's fucking stupid. They should have consistent ad revenue, but they're not smart enough to do it. That's lame that people like me and everyone on YouTube who makes content has to take a big hit in January because they're inept at what they fucking do. Stupid. So that's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. That's what's going on. Now, the good news is typically there's certain pockets during the year where there seems to be more. I think February, because of the Super Bowl, there seems to be a lot more ad revenue on YouTube, so it goes up for a while. And then usually around April, May, there's like a big surge in ad revenue. And then right before the summer, typically there's one. Then all of a sudden in the summer, it always slows down from like July to say September. And then you get the big year-end rush again. So that's kind of how it works. Thing is, for me, sorry, I can't. I play new game releases and stuff. I can't just say, oh, I'm going to save all my best stuff for when I know the ad revenue is highest. You know what I mean? That's stupid. People want constant entertainment. If I don't give you quality stuff all the time, you're not going to stick around. So for me, I can't stockpile my videos and content. And, oh, I know there's ad revenue high now. So for 3 months, I'll do 4 times as much content and then do nothing for January. I don't have that kind of, flexibility, nor do I have that kind of freedom to do that. A lot of people may have it. I don't. Okay. From Vera, if you had a more capable PC, would you play more PC games than console games? Probably not. I do enjoy playing on console, mostly because I find it far more comfortable to do this than keyboard mouse. In fact, using keyboard mouse kind of these days hurts my hands. When I did my Twitch and Chill marathon, by the end of the marathon, my hand was hurting me pretty badly. Okay. So yeah, in that regard, I do enjoy consoles more. But then again, you could use controllers with a lot of these games on PC. If my PC could, here's the thing. It's not that my PC can't run games. It's that my PC can't run these games and capture and stream them. Which I was under the impression when I bought this new PC and I got all the specs according to what people recommended, I'd be able to do it. And then as soon as I got this PC, I go to do it and it didn't work. And everyone blames me. That's Phil's fault. Because, you know, Phil should have done the research. I did. I listened to what everyone was telling me because I don't know. I don't know anything about the technical aspect of computers anymore. I bought specs directly to what people were telling me to get. I had a panel of people, like 10 people, who apparently were all in on computers. They told me exactly what to get. I bought this PC in 2014. It shows up, and I can't stream and record at the same time when I'm playing a PC game. It sucks. If ever I magically get enough money, which I doubt is ever going to happen at this point, to buy another high-end PC, then I'll have one dedicated for gaming and one for the capturing and streaming. I could do it. Right now, I can't. All right. Let's see here. We're almost done. Okay. We are running out of time. There's a couple questions I'm going to skip. I'm going to do one more forum question, and then we're going to go to the Twitter questions, all right? So the final forum question of the day is again from Pocho Max. So he had another question he snuck in here. He says, Phil, what is the one thing you feel has held back your business the most in your 8-year history as a YouTube Let's Player, and what has helped you, or what has helped you the most? So what held me back the most, and what helped me the most? I would say what really held me back the most was lack of transparency and information. Now, there's a lot of times when lack of transparency and information has screwed me over. I'll give you some examples. Not understanding properly how the YouTube copyright system works. Okay? There were a lot of years there where I was totally terrified about false copyright strikes or whatever. I didn't realize what methods I had to defend myself. I didn't realize what vulnerabilities my channels had, of these copyright issues. So that's one way. Another way, YouTube's lack of transparency. YouTube has never been fully transparent with content creators, ever. They like to pretend like they are. Oh, but didn't you see our obscure blog posts that we didn't tell anyone we were posting up that said that all the algorithms on YouTube would change but didn't really explain fully how they're going to change? Oh, we told you that things were changing. No. YouTube is awful. They need to be more transparent. If they're going to make a change to the site that's going to dramatically affect people's businesses, any content creator, they need to fucking tell us so we know what's coming and we can prepare our audiences. If there's going to be a new YouTube algorithm, we need to know exactly how the fuck it works so that we can get our videos to show up in the goddamn algorithm and we could show up in search results. Not just roll the fucking algorithm out there and the next thing you know, someone who used to be super popular on YouTube now can't even show up in the fucking search. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Again, lack of transparency. So here's what happened with me with this false copyright strikes. I had all these false copyright strikes coming in against DSP Gaming in 2015, and there was a meeting between my partner network Machinima and YouTube about it. And I said there's potential that there's tons of false copyright strikes coming up against my pre-stream videos. YouTube employees told Machinima employees to tell me to delete the videos off of YouTube without properly communicating, again, lack of transparency of data, that when I deleted those videos, that it would make my channel look as a negative because I lost all those views, and then I would permanently fall out of YouTube search results. They didn't tell me any of that. I didn't know about this until months later when all of a sudden I'm like, why aren't I getting any views on my videos? What happened? Typically at the end of the year I get a boost in views. I've gotten nothing. What happened? And then people behind the scenes figured it out. It's like, YouTube just sucks. It's like a bunch of people, it's just like I said earlier about my college professor, okay? My college professor for computer science was incredibly smart, incredibly hyper-intelligent. He could code anything. But when it came to actually communicating what he was doing to people, he couldn't do it. He couldn't be transparent. He couldn't teach. He couldn't do anything. He was terrible. Same thing with Google. I fully believe that the people at YouTube and the people at Google are book smart. They could sit there and they could code and they could do this and they could do that. But when it comes to being street smart, when it comes to being personable, when it comes to communication skills, when it comes to actually applying their know-how, their knowledge to real life business, they have no fucking concept of how to do it. So they just roll everything out constantly, not understanding this is going to fuck over other YouTubers, this is going to fuck people over constantly, and we don't care because we're Google and we own it. So who gives a fuck? We're infallible. That's kind of their attitude. And it's ridiculous. It's an elitist, fucking fucked up attitude that needs to end, but someone has to compete with them, and so far nobody has. I'm waiting right now. I'm waiting for what is their competitor from a few months ago that I registered for to tell me that they're going to have ad revenue. Because right now they don't. There's this other website that's trying to compete with YouTube, but the only way that you make money is people donating to you, basically. Enough people are already doing Patreon and Twitch stuff. I can't say, oh, here's another avenue to donate. It's ridiculous. So that's the thing. I'm not going to put my videos up. Now, they said they're going to get ads eventually. Once they get ads, yeah, I'll probably start putting my videos over there and see what kind of revenue it brings. You know what I mean? But right now, it's so ridiculous. There is no viable alternative to YouTube. There's no one who's competing with YouTube on the level. And we're all stuck with these hyper-intelligent, book-smart people who don't understand how business really fucking works. The only reason they're employed is because they're hyper-smart and they all have their fucking PhDs from Ivy League schools, but they don't understand the day-to-day effects of the shit that they do, the code that they roll out, and the non-transparency that they have with people. If all the changes that YouTube was ever having were transparent to me, I would have changed my business on the fly. I would have changed the way I title things, the way that I use tags, my thumbnails. I would have started doing all these things, but it was never fucking transparent. So I never knew any changes were coming through the pipeline. Then all of a sudden, they would hit, and you're like, well, all my views are down again. Oh, not in search again. Wow, this is a great fucking thing, right? I'm disgusted. What has helped me the most over the years with my business? I mean, how can you even question it? The viewers and the fans, the constant feedback, the positivity, the fact that no matter what happens, no matter how much negative shit gets thrown my way, that the people come back, right? If I didn't have a dedicated group of viewers who really want to see me succeed and keep me doing this, I wouldn't still be doing it, you know? It's hilarious because I don't think that the negative people realize how much the fact that they exist and tell me that I can't succeed motivates me even more to keep going for those people that are still here and want to see me succeed. You know what I mean? Like, they don't get it. They just, let's keep making hateful videos. Let's keep doing this. So every time you do that, you're just reinvigorating me to keep fucking going. Like, seriously. For every false copyright strike I get, that gives me the fucking burn in my fucking body, the drive to keep going and succeed past that. How many people have tried to stop me? Think about it. How many things have been thrown against me, right? I've been swatted, false copyright strikes out the wazoo, DDoS attacked. I've had physical threats, death threats, both in person, by the way, and virtually. I've had both. I've been doxxed. My family's been doxxed. My family's been swatted. All the shit has happened over the years. My revenue is tanked. You know, I barely make ends meet, but you know what? I'm still fucking here starting year 9 because I won't give up. As long as these assholes are sticking around telling me that they're going to keep fighting against me, fuck you. I'm going to keep fighting against you. And I am here because of the ongoing support, the long-term support of those who love what I do and tell me what I do is meaningful and they keep going. That's why I'm still here. All right. Now for 4 Twitter questions, and then we'll wrap it up. First one is from Glitch Crazed. He says, what game are you looking forward to most this month and why? Well, we've got 4 major releases in February. We've got Neo, For Honor, Sniper Elite 4, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Out of all those, I've played Neo's beta or alpha or whatever it was, and I played For Honor both in the alpha and the beta phase. Honestly, I like For Honor, But am I expecting anything more groundbreaking than what I played in the beta or the alpha? No. I think it'll be fun to play, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be like, wow, it's so different and amazing or anything like that. I think we've kind of maybe seen the extent of what that game's going to be. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think we might have. Okay. Sniper Elite 4, I don't even know anything about. It's just kind of a game that I'm going to be playing with other stuff. It's going to probably be the game that I start second. I don't know if it'll be a focus of mine or not. I think that's the same series that has the X-ray killings, right? The X-ray sniping. So we'll see how stuff goes with that. Horizon Zero Dawn, from everything I've seen about it, looked really good. It looked like a combination of a great story, great graphics, some fun, original style gameplay. Looks like it could be a good contender for a great game this year. And of course, Neo, I really liked the demo that I played of it. And so I'm very excited for that. And people love to see me play these crazy-ass challenging games. So I'd probably say overall it's a tie between Neo and Horizon Zero Dawn this month. Okay, from PJ Marley. He says, Phil, how do you transition from living with your parents to living on your own? What are the best ways to handle this? And do you have any advice? Well, there's basically a few things you're going to have to do that, you didn't have to do when you live with your parents. You got to realize when you live by yourself, number one, security. So doors locked at all times. Security system. Do you need a weapon for self-defense? I guess it depends on where you live, right? You're going to be by yourself. You're not going to have that extra layer of other people around you to help protect you or anything like that. So you got to be careful about that. Number two, meals. And this is going to be the hardest thing. If you live with your parents are always cooking you meals, and all of a sudden, oh shit, either I have to cook for myself or buy food. You got to try to balance, because if you do like I did when I had that office job and I was so overweight, that is so terrible for you. You got to find a balance of maybe get some healthy meals you can cook for yourself. Balance that with the splurging meals of eating out or whatever. Don't just eat a million fatty, disgusting meals and have no limitation on what you eat, because you will be terrible within a year, okay? Responsibility. And what I mean by that is, do you remember when you lived with your parents and you overslept, they'd come wake you up? That ain't gonna happen no more. It's not. You gotta get, like, I actually got a better alarm clock when I moved out, a better alarm clock than I ever had, because I knew it needed to wake me up. So I got one that has 2 alarms, so I can set one for earlier and one for later. So if I sleep through the first one, the later one will wake me up. It's loud as shit. So that's the kind of stuff. There's people who can't even get out of bed by themselves. That's ridiculous. You have to train yourself to have that self-discipline, not only to wake up, but to go to sleep too. A lot of people, there's no one here to wake up at night anymore. My parents don't yell at me when I stay up. I can stay up all night. Great, but you got to get up in the morning, right, to go to school or work or whatever it is. So you got to be more responsible there. It's going to be a lot of challenges to do the right things when you don't have someone constantly looking over your shoulder, making sure you're doing them. It's going to be a lot of discipline, but you got to do it, because if you don't, there are people who flub through life and never do it. And these are the people who can't hold a job. These are the people who are constant failures. They're not dependable. The people who are the moochers, who, everyone has that cousin who is the guy, the deadbeat. He's like, oh God, that guy again. He's going to come over. He's going to ask to borrow money from me. And, then he's going to go blow it on something stupid like liquor or drugs or something dumb. And he never holds down a job, even though he had a chance to have a million good ones. The fucker can't get up in the morning. It's a bad situation. So don't be like that. You got to toughen yourself up and basically make a checklist of all the stuff you're going to do that's different from when you live with your parents, and commit to it. Okay? Next question from Dark Zero Night. If you could have any superpower, which one would you want? It could come from anyone that's a superhero, video game, or anime. It's very simple. Right now, I definitely know. If I could have any superpower, I'd love to clone myself. Because if I could clone myself, then one person could be here full-time all day, playing games raw and streaming them and having fun with the commentary. One person could be reviewing the games and doing that kind of edited content. One person could be making montages of all the playthroughs. And one person could be doing fun and informed vlogs. The problem is I'm one person. And it's hilarious because in the month of January, this was a perfect example. In the month of January, I was sick, but I was playing through Dark Souls, right? And a bunch of gaming news and stuff happened all at once. And people literally, within the span of one day, said to me, Phil, why didn't you play more on stream? Why aren't you doing an ongoing montage of Dark Souls? And why didn't you do a launch video for the announcement of the Nintendo Switch? Why didn't you have a commentary video? Because everyone on YouTube does edited style gameplay videos, so you should do it. But by the way, you should still keep playing the game raw every day. By the way, everyone on YouTube did a Switch reactions video besides you. And I'm like, do you not understand? I'm one man. Like, seriously. I'm one dude. I have 10 hours a day roughly that I could probably use for business because I sleep 6 to 8 hours a day, and then the other 4 hours that are remaining there or whatever are usually for household things. Waking up in the morning, taking a shower, eating, cleaning up the house, having an hour or two of relaxation in between, or time to spend with my girlfriend. I don't have an infinite amount of time and resources, and also energy. That's the other thing. I don't have infinite energy where I could just go on and on and on and never be tired and never need a break from this. If I could clone myself, so 1 fill per job, I mean, it would be amazing. But, ideally what would have happened was, kind of like if you think about SSOH, PKC, and the Creatures, a bunch of like-minded people who all make different kinds of video content, they came together to be a group, and they all supported each other and helped each other out with all their projects and stuff. So it wasn't always just they're all individuals who need to do all the work. It was they would all work together, right? If I had a team like that, that would have been amazing, and I probably would have been in a much different position today than I ever have been. It never happened. I never got that big. I never got to that opportunity to really do anything like that. So yeah, if I could have a superpower, clone myself. All right, the last question from Project X Payday. Why don't you keep and collect your video games like you do your Blu-ray movies? That's a really easy answer. 2 reasons. Number 1, because unlike a movie, which is, a couple hours, you could come back and watch it quick and you're done and it's cool to come back to it. A video game is usually a longer, interactive experience. I probably would never want to go back, for example, and say, oh man, I'm just craving to play Mass Effect 3 again. Another 10 to 15 hour playthrough here, playing it in my casual time. Probably never, There may be games that from time to time I do want to go back and play, but for the most part, I don't get that craving. For me, I play the game, I enjoy it that first time, and I never really want to go back. The exception would be like with Dark Souls. I wanted to go back and do the Redemption run because the first run was so shitty. But for most games, that definitive time that I'm going to play it is the first time. And I never really feel a desire to go back and replay the game. So why save the game, right? When I rewatch a movie, that movie never changes. Me watching it, original time versus the 10, 20 times after, it's not like the movie changed, right? And also, it's short. It's not super time consuming. While when I'm doing a video game, it's very time consuming, right? So that's kind of the difference. Also, let's face it, Blu-ray movies, they don't have a lot of trade-in value. If I were to trade in all my Blu-rays downstairs, I'd probably make $100. Versus games, a lot of the times when you buy them new, you trade them in, you could get half the value back usually, okay? But now really the biggest reason, I don't really buy physical games anymore. I stopped last year when Leanna started going to work and needing the car all the time. And I realized, damn, I'm not going to have that flexibility anymore to either be there that midnight launch to get the physical game or to be there Tuesday morning to get the game because she's going to need the car to work. I stopped getting them physically. And I really have not. The last physical game I bought was in April of 2016. It was Star Fox Zero. And I haven't gotten one since. Yeah, I haven't gotten one since. I'm thinking Pocket Tournament right there was March of last year. And that's it. So, the only exceptions were 3DS. I bought Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on 3DS because it was really cheap online versus getting it digitally. So, but that's why I don't have a big game collection. I don't think I ever have a desire to go back. That first playthrough usually is the definitive playthrough for me. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Ask the King. I hope you enjoyed the show. The next show will be in 2 months' time, sometime in April. I'm not exactly sure when yet. Again, you could post up your questions already on the KingofFate.com forums. Or if you pledge to my Patreon, you could guarantee that your questions will be answered, all right? Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll see you next time on Ask the King. Until then, peace out, and I hope you enjoy all the gameplay content and stuff that I'll be putting out on all of my channels on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and thanks so much once again for your ongoing support. I'm only here because of you. Let's keep the fun stuff coming, all right? That's it, everyone. Peace out.